Welcome to Brothers King Media, where we view eternity through the lens of art. My name is Samuel,
And I'm Solly.
and today we get to continue our discourse through the discography of the DavidCrowder Band. And I'm super excited about today because we get to listen to what is honestly my favorite album of theirs.
Looks like we're going to have a collision today.
So I will say, this may not be, they have other albums that is like their best album.
Right.
But this is my favorite album just to sit and listen to. I love just listening to this album. It is truly a classic in every sense of the way. And in reading the reviews for it and such, they go on and on about how it's such a good album for a worship album and how it breaks ground in the worship genre. But I feel like this album, in many ways, breaks molds and cliches, not just for the worship genre, for Christian music genre. It really, and really just for the pop album genre. This may not be like the best pop album of all time. I would never go so far to claim that.
Right.
But it's at least an album they put a lot of thought into. And we talked about last week how every album is like a good house. It has a good foundation, a good middle, good ceiling. And I feel like this album hits all that criteria so well.
Right.
So, just out of curiosity, Solomon, what's your earliest memories of this album? I know we talked about last week. Illuminate was the first album I probably made you listen to by DavidCrowder Band.
Right.
So, when did you get around to this album?
The first time I listened to this album was when you burnt a bunch of CDs for me. I'm pretty sure there were a good 10 CDs at least that you burnt for me. And so I was just going through them trying to figure out, hey, what's something I haven't listened to that's new and different, something that like would broaden my, musical horizon, as you so often tell me I should do. And so, I found this and I was like, A Collision. That sounds interesting. It's the title. It's an attention grabber, and one of the things that really like stuck with me through the album, not just as not just because the music was good and the lyrics were good, but like the like the names of the songs. It's kind of like, when you listen, okay, not the names of the songs, but when you listen to like a couple of the songs, they have plays on words, and it's fun. And one of my favorite ones is "Holy Yours," and so one time this week, listening to this song or listening to these songs, right after it says full album, and then you listen to the full album, and then it starts playing the next video, and next video came on, and it was a video of Crowder and Parker interviewing, and they're like, so what's the story on this one? And I forget the whole story, but it was something that his mom said about being holy, or about I'm thinking it was about his jeans having holes in them. And she was like, what are those, like, holy jeans, And he's like, so from there I kind of got the idea, that, hey, we can still be holy even though we're a mess.
Okay.
Like, God still sees holiness in us, because, that's how he created us. He wanted to have, communion, and that just, it kind of stuck with me. So, that's probably my favorite song on here, I would say. And I know I'm probably getting a little far ahead, but that's about the time. It was about 2013, I want to say, is when you gave me all those songs. So 2013 is probably when I first listened to this album, and it was a while after it was recorded and all that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think this was recorded in 2006. I'll have to double check.
Yeah.
My experience with first time listening to this album was I already told how I got introduced to DavidCrowder Band with Illuminate and all that. And then I finally decided just to take the plunge and be like, I like these guys. I'm going to buy all their stuff. So I went to the Christian bookstore.
I got T-shirts and hats. And
I never got the T-shirt. Now, kids, stores are these places you go, and they used to have what's called a CD. It's like this round thing inside a square case.
Oh, like 8 tracks.
Sort of. And so I went to the Christian bookstore, and they had church music, the newest album at the time. This was back in 2009.
You'd think they'd have church music. They're the Christian bookstore.
But the DavidCrowder Band church music, it was on pre-order, because this was back in 2009.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like,
oh, I miss pre-order.
I know, the good old days. And the deal was, you got that one, and then you got Illuminate as a bonus for pre-order.
For pre-ordering.
So I'm like, heck yeah, I'll do this. Because by that point, my original copy of Illuminate had been lost or scratched up or something. It was gone.
Right.
So I pre-ordered church music, got Illuminate as a free gift, and they happened to have a collision there. I'm like, well, I'm getting all of their other music. I might as well get this one. Right. And I'd read reviews. That was when I really got into reading reviews. I heard it was good. And I listened to it, and I'm just like, wow, this album.
This album.
Yeah. So I will...
wait, church music or Illuminate?
No, A Collision.
A Collision. Because
yes.
you said you went there to buy...
Well, pre-order church music. I had to wait like 3 months for it to come out still.
Oh, okay.
I just pre-ordered it. They gave me a little receipt saying you can come and redeem this.
Usually I'm the one who gets sidetracked, and I was like, wait, buddy, that's a little while down the road.
Yeah, no. So... that's when I got A Collision, and it's. I will try not to fanboy the whole entire album, but I will definitely give you my thoughts and everything. So there's that very long fanboying introduction for you, where we just say our love for this album. I'll try my best to be critical. That's the only problem with doing this podcast on albums we grew up on. It's kind of hard to be critical sometimes.
Yeah, because it's just something about it. Because you go swimming at your aunt's pool your entire life, and you remember how much you love it. But then you go again when you're, 18 and 21, and you realize it really sucks getting swimmer's ear.
Yeah.
So, but you still want to go back. And that's,
that might
David
be a
Crowder Band.
Metaphor. I don't think David Crowder Band ever gave me swimmer's ear.
Well, listen, sometimes there's those songs that kind of hurt, They're like, oh man, they messed up a little bit.
And Sushi?
Sunset and Sushi, yeah. But I'm saying in general, David Crowder Band, you go back to them, you're like, oh, this is my childhood. But then you listen to that one album, and you're like, I forgot about that. That sucks.
I still stand by, they are my number one favorite band of all time.
Yeah, I can't say that, but I love them a lot.
I will gladly stand by that to the day I die.
Okay.
But maybe someday we'll do a special podcast on I have a top 60 artists. And,
no.
That could be interesting. I don't know. So let's jump into where we traditionally jump in with the production on this. And other than an executive producer, Brad O'Donnell, who's been an executive producer on every album.
Every album.
And, of course, Louis Giglio. They did all the production themselves on this album. Right. This was the David Crowder Band's... This was their production album.
Guys! I could be wrong, but this is the first time executive comes before producer under Louis Giglio. I'm sure, because every other one said producer, Louis Giglio.
No, he said executive.
Did it say executive?
Yeah,
okay,
he's
well, I'm wrong.
I'm
sorry. That's my bad.
So, he's, so as I said, they produced this album themselves, and it really shows. This is their most, as an album as a whole piece, this is their most experimental piece.
Yeah. Right.
And it pays off in big ways.
For sure.
And this is also, I don't know if he returned in B Collision or not, but as a full album, this is Jason Solly's, sorry, I don't know why I keep wanting to say Mike Solly. Jason Solly's swan song. So, goodbye to the second guitarist.
Wait, which one's his goodbye song?
Well, not really any of them.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying this album.
Oh, this album is his farewell.
I don't know if he did that on purpose, but
right.
After what I consider their my favorite album by them, he left. And I know you're looking in there going, "Where's Johnny Cash?" He wrote "I Saw the Light."
Oh yeah. Okay. Usually composer means that they like.
Well, they just
composed
on all.
inside-
We're looking at allmusic.com. On there, anytime anyone did any kind of music or lyrics, it's composer.
Now Ed Cash.
He was what was he here?
Vocal producer.
Vocal producer. Ed Cash. He's very steeped in the CCM industry.
Is he brothers with Johnny?
No.
Oh, okay.
He
Coincidence.
Yeah. He produces stuff for like Chris Tomlin, Bebo Mormon.
Okay.
That's his kind of wheelhouse.
Gotcha.
So chances are, if I was to take a guess, Sparrow Records / Six Step probably sent him in to make sure that the singles at least sounded good. Like, we got to get some singles out of this album. We're letting these guys go crazy here.
Right.
So they probably sent him I don't know. I don't know all the story. Maybe they just, wanted him to help with their vocals. Who knows?
Who knows?
We weren't there.
Who knows?
This would be an album I would love to see a making of.
Right. Like how it was created.
Yeah.
Like a movie.
Yeah, I would.
That would be awesome.
So even cooler, this album, David Crowder had went and moved down to a house in Texas, and he found out, he gives all this in interviews, like you can find him on YouTube and stuff. The house was owned by the inventor of Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
And this house had a barn behind it.
Because he called it Dr. Pepper because his horse's name
was Dr. Pepper. Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that. So he goes and this barn, they retrofit it into a studio where they record the remainder of their albums, I think.
Right.
I don't know if Remedy was recorded in there, but I know this album and Church Music.
Well, pretty much everything after Solly leaves was recorded in there. But
well, they did this.
We're not talking. Did they?
Yeah.
Did okay.
This is
they recorded this. I didn't know that.
They definitely recorded B Collision in there.
Yeah, with the banjos because
Well, this album has banjos too, but
does it? Oh yeah,
yes.
yeah. I saw the
Did you listen to this at all this week?
Yes, I did. Okay, I'm sorry, but since I have started my real life experience, my trains of brain thinking and my brain compartments and my brain departments are very coagulated.
So the coolest thing to say about the production on this is I like that they produced it themselves. I feel like it shines and it shows, and it really goes really well with them.
Right.
So moving on to
their 7.
Yeah.
What's it called? Their 7.
3 + 4 = 7.
Well, no. Like, because
it's like
there's
the 7.
7. Like, what was it? Conspiracy. The 7 conspiracy.
I never thought of it as conspiracy per se.
It's kind of a conspiracy because everybody's wondering.
It's more of like a mythology because they purposely put the 7 in there. They're very deliberate about it.
Right.
And they say that.
Well, anyway, what do we got here? We got the title of the album has 4 syllables, being the last of the 4s in the 4/3 album cycle, which, like I mentioned, last time, 4/3 timing is what they wrote a lot of these songs. Well, actually, I would venture to say they actually wrote all of them in 4/3 timing. I could be wrong.
No,
but
they did not.
Well, I'm just saying.
But
most of them are in 4/3 timing.
The album was released.
The album was a companion 3-syllable album. Give us rest.
Okay. No, just skip that line.
Okay. The album was released on 9/27/2005. 9 + 2 + 7 + 2 + 0 + 0 = 5. +5 = 25. 2 + 5 = 7. A Collision has 21 tracks. 21 is a multiple of 7. Or as I said also on the last album, that had 21 tracks. And they said, that as a multiple of 7. Maybe the title and that number is their 7. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. That's just, they start throwing things out there and you start thinking in your brain. See, that's what I like so much about them. You start thinking. They make you think. Other bands just make you like them. Anyway, so then the album is subtitled 3 + 4 = 7. The phrase 3 + 4 = 7 also has 7 syllables.
So I will finally talk about that title. If you look up the blogs, I'm sorry, Solomon's sitting there counting the syllables with his hand under the chin.
Yeah, that's how I learned it in
It's
kindergarten.
it's okay.
Music class.
So the phrase 3 plus 4 equals 7. They talk about a lot in interviews and blogs and such. The whole entire thing is 3 represents the divine for various reasons, such as Jesus rose on the 3rd day, etc. They also throw in like the Trinity there as a one God person. I obviously discount the Trinity bit, but I get where they're going in the idea of 3 represents divinity.
Right.
And
we'll go with it.
Their idea is for various reasons 4 represents humanity. So
I know where they get that from.
Where did
they get that from?
He says it more in his blog. I forget. And then the idea, and this idea is all throughout this album, is when his divinity meets our humanity. It creates a beautiful collision, perfection, the number 7.
Right.
And that's the idea. Is we are colliding with God, creating perfection.
You and I collide.
It's a very cool idea, and they explain some of this throughout the album. Once again, blogs, all kinds of stuff everywhere. Album artwork. So on the album, it just shows this awkwardly shaped kid staring at an atom.
I don't think he's awkwardly shaped.
I mean, his shoulders like really just
it stands out a little weird.
But whatever.
But he's got a really nice haircut.
So this kid's sitting there staring at him. At first, it doesn't look like too much. Whatever. They're smart guys. Well, the idea that they explain is that the atom is not really how an atom looks. Scientists know that this isn't really how atoms move, and protons and neurons. If they really moved like that, they would just collapse in on themselves.
Right.
But it's a model for us to use until we get a more perfect picture.
Mm-hmm.
And much like an atom, worship music is imperfect, and it's a worship of our Creator, and it's portrayal of our Creator. And but it's an imperfect model we use until we come to the full realization of what true worship is.
Right.
When we get to heaven. And I'm like, that is just such a cool idea.
Brilliant.
I love that.
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
So that's kind of a little background on the album. The producers, the artwork. So, shall we jump into the songs?
Sure. Sounds good to me.
So, this album acts as a pseudo-concept album. It's split into 4 parts: A part, B part, C part, and D part. And so it opens up with kind of the theme of the album, because there's several themes throughout this album. One of them being the idea of dealing with death. Because, death is a difficult thing to deal with. When they wrote the album, a whole bunch of some of their friends died. And there was like a hurricane happening. It was like all this bad stuff happened at once.
Right. Okay. That's crazy. I don't know that this has anything to do with it, because I don't know. A part, like a part. B part, like be a part. I don't know what C part means, but D part.
Like we're departing from heaven.
Departing from heaven.
Yes, that's...
Is this where you're going with this?
Well, not quite. They do mention that as like a fan theory online. But, as I was saying, it starts with the song, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And this is actually just a little snippet, just kind of a little introduction. The idea, I guess, that they're going for here is that Crowder's just chilling in his barn and like has an epiphany in his head of this album. I don't know.
No clue.
Or him and the band are just playing this album in the barn, like... He just walks downstairs, and they all just start playing these songs together, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So
it comes... It's just like, they're just sitting there, like on those... like on High School Musical,
Yeah.
when none of them practice the songs, but they all know the same song and they start singing it all on key to the music.
That's this album right
that
there.
isn't really there. It's brilliant and beautiful.
So they come with
so much.
my favorite album opener they've had thus far.
Right.
Come and Listen. I think it's a
Come
beautiful song.
You sure that? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
So that's their first actual song.
Okay, yeah. Everybody Wants to Go to Heaven. A Walk Downstairs.
Which I just...
Oh, okay. That's what you're talking about. I was like, what is this walk downstairs about? Sorry, buddy.
This is why I told you to listen to it before you got here. So, it opens with Come and Listen, which I think is one of the most beautiful songs ever. A lot of people dislike that song, actually. And then from there, it essentially goes into the 3 singles from the album, for all intents and purposes.
Right.
And I most of the time, I hate albums that put their singles at the front of the album. Because I feel like it just logs the album, it kind of makes it lopsided, if you will. But in this case, I appreciate it because they're like, okay, let's just get the necessities out front. People buy us because we have a certain sound. Let's just give them what they want up front, and if they want to leave after that, cool with us. I appreciate that. It's kind of like Rich Mullins used to go out in his concerts right after Awesome God shot off, and rather than waiting till the end to play that, he would just go in and open with that song. So anyone who didn't actually want to be there for anything but that song would just leave.
Right.
And he can continue his concert the way he wanted to.
Right.
And that's not to say that because they're singles, they're bad. These are top-notch songs.
Right.
As Solomon said earlier, Holy Yours is a great little play on words, because it's that WHOLLY, holy, we are wholly yours, God. And then it goes on to say in the next line,
He is holy.
And it says, we want to be holy
because
you are holy.
Because you're holy.
Holy yours.
Yeah.
It's a really cool play on words. I think Mike D had some writing credits on that song. Let's see. And the song before that, Here's Our King, is not bad either. It's a really good...
Here is our King.
I feel like that's kind of the sequel to All This for a King. It kind of feels like a sequel song in a sense. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Like maybe by the end of this, we'll understand their albums more. I don't know.
So this song, I take that back. Holy Yours was wholly a David Crowder affair. I will say though, he definitely, his songwriting notched up every album.
Right.
This album, his songwriting is really hitting full throttle.
Definitely. Yeah, he's definitely hitting full throttle by this time, and then it doesn't ever get worse. It only gets better from here on out.
Until he kind of went on his own.
Until he went on his own, and what is it, like bluegrass rock? I don't even know.
He calls it swamp rock. I just don't think it's as good. But that's just neither here nor there.
Neon Steeple. Okay, we're gonna have. Sorry.
I don't think it's bad, just not as good. So, what are your thoughts? And then Forever and Ever, etc. is probably my...
it just goes on forever and ever.
But I love it.
Me too.
It's one of my favorite songs on this album.
That's what I mean. Like when I was talking earlier about the play on words and their titles and all that, is literally when you read this title of this song, it is what it means. Forever and ever, etc. And then you listen to it and you realize, yes, forever and ever and ever and ever.
It's really only a 4-minute song.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not discrediting it. I like this song. It's very, very energetic and pumpy, and it gets you going.
It has a good guitar in it.
For sure.
And have you seen the music video? I've made you watch that.
Yes, the squirrels.
The squirrels.
And the robots.
For those that haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. Go to YouTube.
Why don't we just put the
link in the? I'll do that.
Yeah, we'll put the link in the
It's one of the funniest videos. It has nothing to do with worship, but it's hilarious.
Well, I mean, the song is.
The song is, yes. The song is a very worship song. I could hear this song in a youth group service. Easily.
Right.
And really, I'm talking Here's Our King is kind of the sequel to All This for a King. Forever and Ever, etc. is almost a sequel to No One Like You.
Right.
in a sense.
Mhm.
Like they have similar leanings.
Right. Like I actually a lot of times I do get like those songs confused. I
Yeah.
do. I just like.
So what's your take on these first four songs?
See, something I noticed is like you seen "Come and Listen." And it's kind of like you said, it's a good opener. It really is a good first song opener. But then you get to "Here's Our King," like another really good song. But I feel like "Holy Yours," kind of like hey, here is our King. Let's go, worship him. And then when they start singing "Holy Yours," it's kind of like they're talking to him. And then when it gets to "Forever and Ever," etc., it's like, okay, now I'm holy, so I'm going to praise you forever and ever. Be able to, I don't know, like. It's different thinking, and like I said, they make you think a lot. It doesn't have to be right. You're unlike the Bible, music is open to private interpretation.
Yes, it's true.
So,
and
that's what I think. That's what's cool about them. Is like a lot of worship music. It's like specific. Like there's some songs, not everybody believes in like not everyone's Unitarian and not everyone's Trinitarian, but a lot of worship songs have very Trinitarian leaning, and it's kind of one of those things that's like forcing, and we may not believe it, but the Crowder Band usually their songs that have that are very they're covers, they're stuff other people saying, and they believe it, and that's cool. Hey, to each their own. I know what I believe, and I believe it with my whole heart. So where I'm going with this is pretty much the David Crowder Band made their music to where you could I feel like they made it this way, to where you can interpret it yourself. Like, this is what we want it to be, but it might be a different story for you. It might be a different story to you.
And so a lot of artists do that.
Yeah, right. A lot of artists do that. Like, I'm sure that artists don't just go writing songs saying, hey, we need to really tell someone else's story. As much as I'm pretty sure that when they're writing songs for an album, it's like all of them are like, hey, Luke, or hey, dude, I wrote this song and it's just something I'm going through. And then they just could put a bunch of their stories together. And then that's what makes people like them, is their songs can relate.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
then you make it your own story. It's not just theirs. Y'all relate. So.
And speaking of story, like this album, I said it's a pseudo concept album.
Right.
And one of the things, in one of the blogs about the album, he just kind of tells a story. Crowder does of a friend at a hospital bed, and the guy's laying beside the hospital bed with his wife's in the hospital bed, and he's holding her hand, and she said something along the lines of, "I'm scared." Like, I know, I'm here with you though. She said, and one of the characters, or they were probably real life people, I don't know, said, "None of us are getting out of here alive though."
Right.
Which is a powerful statement that really kind of goes with the album. So the first part is a lot of sunshine and happiness.
Right.
And then if we're going from this is just the start of the movie, nothing bad has happened yet. We're sunshine and happiness. Now let's move on to part B of the movie, the conflict,
right?
The collision. So someone's gotten sick, someone's dying, something bad has happened, and they have a quiet interlude, which does exactly its purpose. It interludes from the happy, sunshiny bit to this next section B. And I keep saying this is my favorite song on the album. There are so many of them. Right. But if not my favorite, probably the best song on the album, and definitely underrated. A Beautiful Collision.
Right.
This song.
It is a really great song. Like lyrics all the way down to the guitar solo.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
But this song just has so much emotion in it. I'll just read the first verse because we do that sometimes. And Jack Parker co-wrote this.
Right.
The heartbreaking makes a sound I never knew could be so beautiful and loud. Fury filled and we collide. So courageous until now, fumbling and scared. So afraid you'll find me out, alone here with my doubt. Here it comes a beautiful collision. It's happening now. There seems no end to where you begin, and there I am now. You and I collide.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
And I just
it's like
that is like
that
I feel like those lyrics transcend worship music.
Those lyrics, they like scream it, but people are like, like they don't they worship. They feel like worship. I feel like a lot of people think worship music needs to be, and I don't want to say this demeaning, but like third grade level. Like every word needs to be like, "We love you, Lord. We love you. We
and
love
there's
you."
nothing against simple songs.
And since we're praising them, that is a Crowder song.
Yeah.
You know, your love is big. Your love is love.
Yeah.
See, like there's nothing wrong with those songs.
The simple songs.
Those simple songs. But when you can take like a thought, like they just did, like they just said, there is no end to where you begin, and there I am now. Because like, how are you? They're not talking about where like that. They're where God is and ends. They're talking about God is where you are. Like every moment in life, there's a collision with your life and God's view.
It's just like when Jesus was talking to the people. Yeah, they said, how can you be with Abraham if you're here? He said, before Abraham was, I am.
Well, before Abraham was, I am.
And we always take that as a powerful one God statement.
Right.
But it's even bigger than that.
Right, because like
God is there.
It's crazy. And then like the same thing happens with Moses.
Yeah.
And Moses walks in on the burning bush and he's like, who do I say sent me? He's like, tell them I am sent you. And it's like,
that's some powerful stuff.
Because like not only is he telling Moses, tell these people who sent you, he's telling Moses, he's like, when you go there to tell them who sent you, just know that I am with you. Like it's so crazy, and I love talking about it because you grow up with these Sunday school songs and you watch, and like I'm thinking the Prince of Egypt right now, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful collision.
It is. I mean, and I also appreciate songs that have that theological soundness to them. Like they go deeper. I'm sorry, guys. I said we wouldn't try to fanboy this on our album.
Yeah, but how can you not like brilliant lyrics like this? Like, man.
So we're now on the dark bit. Next up, we have "Soon I'll Be Done with the Troubles of the World," which is not sung by DavidCrowder Band. It's a bit It's performed by the Howard Roberts Chorale. So. I was listening to I was reading an interview with Crowder, and he was saying how this part is so cool. This song, it was sung by a black group.
Yeah.
And this would be like the 50s, at the height of the civil rights movement, right?
Right.
And they were good singers, but they were trying to sound white. Because they were, the civil rights were still a thing.
Yeah.
And their music wouldn't be bought if they sounded too black.
Right.
So they were trying to sound white, singing a black slave song.
Oh man.
And the song they chose to sing was "Soon I Will Be Done with the Troubles of this World." And it goes even deeper than that. He went on to say in this interview how he often writes songs. Not because life is going good, but much like David, he would write songs to pull himself up out of the darkness,
right,
and out of the despair.
Deep.
So using this song
far out
in the darkest part of your album,
right? That's brilliant.
so many layers upon layers.
Oh my goodness! Like. They just have oh my goodness.
And then they go into this epic song, "Be Lifted." And the whole entire song, once again, I gotta read lyrics because they're just so good. It says, "How long will you hear us till you come back? We ain't giving up. How long till you heal us? Till you come back, we ain't giving up. Love rise up, hope rise up. And then, and that's kind of the whole entire song, and it sounds like a slave song.
How long?
Like, I love that they continue the theme right on. And then, right when their despair is at its lowest, the song it's epic, but it's dark.
Right.
It just kind of stops.
Right.
And then breaks into the banjos.
Yeah, but
and
seriously, if we're talking about this song Sound Dark, like if you think about it, this is one of those songs that like you could hear at like the beginning of like, they have the movie Twice Freed or Twice a Slave, or it might be 3 Times Slave. I don't remember, but like those slave songs, and like you can hear that. I like listening to this song. I can hear this as like maybe like one of those like exchanging scenes, like where like they're trying to figure something out,
Yeah, I got
running away or whatever, and it's like just one of those songs that it's like it fits so well.
But then when the banjo kicks in, the song just changes gears. And it says, lift up your head, hope is rising. Lift up your head, be lifted, lift up your head. And that's just such a good ending. And even if you want to follow the story I'm creating for this pseudo concept album, something bad happened. Someone died, something.
Right.
And they've all but lost faith. And so they are literally singing themselves back to faith in God.
Right.
And then they're saying in the next song, which is just as upbeat, I saw the light, no more darkness, no more night.
Right.
And it's like they're just trying to pull themselves up out of the mud of the despair they're in. But
like it's so much brilliance. They have like it's almost like right before this album, a light bulb kicked on.
Yeah.
Just something illuminated. You know what I mean?
So
I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there.
And then they end the B part with "Oh God, Where Are You Now," which is actually a cover by a guy named Sufjan Stevens. Very brilliant artist in his own right.
Right.
And I like that even though they're pulling themselves up out of their despair, they're, singing about how they saw the light of God. They're still not afraid to question, even though I'm trying to pull myself up, God, I still want to know where you are. I still feel alone.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you?
What is this? It's like, oh God, where are you now? In Pickerel Lake, Pigeon, Marquette, Mackinac.
So the album, this song actually comes from another concept album.
Okay. Wait, just a second. So does that mean like? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
It's saying locations.
Right.
So this song actually comes from another concept album called Michigan.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And the song's all about the state of Michigan. So I assume those are locations in Michigan.
Ah, gotcha.
But so then it ends with saying, "Oh God, where are you now?" And I love that it goes to the next part, and it's almost like this is God's response: "Be quiet now. Be more quiet now. Just wait and see what I will do."
Right.
And that's the "Be Quiet" interlude in the next part of the song. And
the C part.
I see God now.
Like I see. Yes. Oh.
So. And it's even cooler because if you listen to the song, I was listening to it today.
Oh my goodness.
And when he's going, "Be more quiet now, just wait for the Lord."
Oh my gosh, I've got it. Oh.
And so he actually keeps lowering his voice until the very end. You have to have headphones on to hear it. He's just whispering. And just the effect, so perfect.
You didn't hear him just whisper, but it gave me goosebumps.
So I guess what I'm trying to say throughout, I hope you like this album as much as I do. By the time I'm done explaining why I love this album.
Okay, but now it makes so much more sense because I was like, I get the being apart.
Yeah, because we've
And
hit
then
our lowest point. Yeah.
I don't understand what B part means. But see, it's like a part is talking about you're apart, like being apart from God. And then B part is talking about the part where you have to be whatever. And then C part is when you've been for so long, you can see. Now on to the final part.
Okay,
D
I
part.
got you. So, but it just kind of keeps following along that thematic line of God saying be quiet, and then the next song is "Do Not Move." And this song I actually heard originally on the X Worship, which X used to be an album series of samplers that Tooth and Nail put out of just. It was like a joint venture of the best rock songs of Christian music, and so this song was on there. And I was like, wow, that's a good song. Then I heard it in this context. And when you hear it after Be Quiet, I don't want to move. It's so powerful.
Right.
And the song Do Not Move, actually, once again, just kind of going to the nuances of the song, the chorus says, breathe in deeper now, breathe in deeper now, breathe in deeper now, breathe in now. And if you hear it, if you listen to it, it almost sounds like it's saying breathe him now, is what it almost sounds like it's saying. And if you listen to the song, right after they get into that part, right before they go into the costliest of costs, the deadliest of loss, the wonder of the cross, the breath of life that steps.
Stops.
Before they go into that part, you can actually hear them go, and breathe in.
Yeah.
Right before that part goes. And I just think that's so cool to add that nuance of they're breathing in the moment,
right,
and not moving, and then saying, this is what God has done for me. The wonder of the cross, the wonder of the cross.
Oh, what a minute. That, see, like, that's the brilliance of doing this is when I listen to the album, I look at like the outside, the like titles, the track titles, whatnot. But then when we get together, it's like we almost see like everything because like you get deep into these songs and you're like, whoa, these lyrics, man, like they're so far out, bro. And you don't talk like that. But
I do like dissecting stuff.
Yes, you dissect, and that's the thing. Like you dissect. Well, I like. I don't know. Like
you try to look at the big picture.
Yeah, I look at the big picture while you like
zoom in on the microscope.
Yeah. You look at the microscopic view, and I just like yes. There's the 52-inch picture right there.
So, Do Not Move, and then the next song is Come Awake, which kind of ties back into my theme of, something bad is happening in the character's life, right? Because it opens with a heart monitor, and you hear beep, 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 flatline.
Right.
And the idea, I'm assuming they're going for, is in this point, someone's dead. Right. They're dealing with death.
Right.
And I almost feel like I just now thought of this, but the song Come Awake is almost about the person dying and coming awake fully to God. Because now that they're dead, they can truly go to heaven. Come awake from sleep, rise. You were dead. Become alive. Wake up, open your eyes, climb from the grave into the light, bring us back to life.
Right.
Which, if you're looking at that as a song about going to heaven, it sounds all backwards, but it's so true. Because even Jesus himself said, to gain the world, to gain your life is to lose it, to lose your life is to gain it.
Yeah, to live is Christ, to die is gain.
Yes. So the lyrics, and this one, it was written by David Crowder, Mike Hogan, and Jason Soley. And I like the idea a lot that it's potentially a song about a person dying, and only when you die. Rather, it's a spiritual death, I'm dying to my flesh.
Right.
Or I'm physically dying. Only when you die can you truly come alive.
Right.
And this is a theme repeated so much throughout the Bible. And I've even heard one person argue Christians shouldn't be afraid of death. Why are we afraid of death? We should celebrate death.
Right. Yeah. That's. I mean, there's a lot of like youth today. Like you hear your older people saying that. You're like, why are people so afraid to die? Like, we're Christians. We shouldn't be afraid. But see, I don't know if it's fear of death as much as it's like fear of not getting to live. If you know what I'm saying. Like, okay, that sounds very like oxymoron statement. But what I mean by that is like, what if we die before we get a chance to like actually live? Like actually like be able to be like, wow, like I've seen what life is. I've seen what that has to offer. When you have your older group that's like, I know what life is. The world doesn't offer very much. And as a Christian, death should be more of a celebration than a struggle.
Yeah, and it's one of those things when you're young, it's hard to come to that conclusion.
It's hard to come to that conclusion.
And I came to the conclusion when I was only 17, 18. I said, okay, anything that ties me to this world, anything that makes me want to stay here more than being raptured or more than dying. Because at 17, you don't ever think you're actually going to die either. You're pretty sure the rapture is the only thing that's going to take you out of here. Right. But at 17, I decided, anything that makes me not want to leave this earth must be wrong.
Right.
And I believe God definitely gives you glimpses of joy. He will give you glimpses. Well, like I said, like the idea of this podcast, glimpses of eternity.
Right.
Art is one beautiful thing God gives us that gives us glimpses into heaven, into eternity. But it's only a glimpse, and we're so stuck on that small glimpse, we're afraid to leave it.
Right.
When God's like, I have so much more for you.
Right.
If you would just, die, if you repent, be baptized,
and that's it.
Die to yourself.
Not so much,
and then physical death will come.
Physically, everyone knows physical death's going to come, and everyone's like, you see those people that are like, wow, dude, you've eaten so much sugar, you're going to die of a sugar overdose. Like, at least I'll die happy. That's all people are thinking about. They just want to be happy. And it's not that Christians don't want to be happy, but if you're a true Christian, then you live happy. Like Peter said, I think myself happy.
That's David.
Peter also said it.
Okay.
But anyway, because he was repeating it. But anyway, like Christians, sometimes, they're like, okay, they realize true joy comes from God.
And that actually brings very nicely, so we come awake, someone dying, when they die, they come awake. And the very next song is, You Are My Joy.
Right.
And it's almost like, okay, this person has died.
I'm going to take this moment to say, I purposely did that. I didn't, but I did.
Okay. So the person died, and it's like the person just sitting there and saying, no matter what, they just died.
Right.
God, you are my joy.
Right.
I will take joy in you in this moment. And by the way, You Are My Joy is an epic rock opera.
It is. It's like, whoa, dude.
Like, in and of itself, it's once again one of my favorites off this album.
Brilliant. Like, I think everything is one of our favorites off this album.
Like, at least each section, I have one song, and I'm just like, yeah.
There's a good 2 off of each section for me.
So, You Are My Joy is, in and of itself, a brilliant, brilliant song.
Brilliant. Beautiful.
But within the narrative of the album.
Right.
And then, moving on, we have Our Happy Home, just singing about, well, I honestly love it, because the modern church is so Western focused. We forget of our
roots and tied to Jerusalem.
Yeah,
tied to Israel and
tied to Israel.
If we're gonna get started on that, oh my goodness, you better hurry and get past it, because I could be there forever.
The song though, Our Happy Home, says, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, our happy home. I'll pull up the lyrics and just read them, because once again, good lyrics. So, Jerusalem, our happy home, would God were in thee, would God my woes were at end, the joy that I might see.
Right.
And this was actually a folk hymn. I did not realize
From
that.
1616. Arranged and
Melody by David Crowder.
Wait, huh? Oh, okay.
He just arranged it into the melody.
He
rearranged
but he took
the lyrics.
Okay, gotcha. I was like, wait, how is it?
But these are some good lyrics.
Yeah, let's just go through some of them here real quick. The first two lines, hallelujah, we are on our way, hallelujah, we are on our way to God. But anyway, from Jerusalem,
from
Egypt lately came, where death and darkness reign, to seek our better home, where we our rest shall gain. Their sin and sorrows cease, and every conflict o'er. There we shall dwell in endless peace, and never hunger more.
Jerusalem,
oh my goodness!
Our happy home.
It's brilliant.
Would God I were in thee.
Would God my woes were at an end, the joy that I might see.
And really, if you see it within this narrative, it's the guy, the person, someone just died in their life, and they're saying, I want to be home with them. Right. I want to be in the New Jerusalem.
Right. And actually, real quick, before we move on from this, I would actually like to, did it say who it was arranged by?
It said David Crowder arranged it.
I mean, crap. Okay, so it doesn't say, who originally did.
No, it said it was an anonymous hymn.
Oh, that stinks, because I was in Israel, last October, and that actually, the way we were saying it, kind of mournful, but there's hope in our morning, but whatever. It actually sounds like something that they would have seen, because you go out in the street corners, there's a street called Bermuda Street, and it's like downtown Jerusalem. You just walk, and it is very beautiful, lit up at night. But every corner there is music, every corner. But there was this one corner that was just a quartet of some Jewish boys, and they were singing just very minor key, folk song. Which folk song, we're thinking,
Peter Paul and Mary or something.
Yeah, no. Folk song means that song tells a story about
the people
of where you're from. So, we say folk song here in America, and we're like, yeah, it's like one of them old westerns. No, because this could be from England, this could be from Ireland, but it really sounds like something from Israel. Honestly, I mean, I'm not sure, and I'm actually going to check
passed down.
It may have
passed down from person to person,
right? Throughout the years, and who knows wherever it started, because the world is so big.
And then it goes into the longest song title on the album.
Now I'm going to look into that.
Repeat, return, or when the seventh angel sounded his trumpet, and there was a loud voice in heaven, which said, the kingdom of the world has become the kingdom of our Lord and his Christ, and he will reign forever and ever, etc. And really, that's just a big guitar feedback, is all it is. But I think it's departing, and I wonder if they're this is the rapture. We're waiting. Death is.
Guys, that's what I love. Okay, I'm sorry, I just screamed at you. Okay, repeat, return.
And it's just a guitar feedback.
And it's a guitar feedback. Okay, so how you create a feedback on a guitar is when you take a delay pedal, you crank it all the way up to 10 on the feedback, and what has to happen is that delay creates a repeat that returns into your guitar from your amp, which returns back into your amp. Oh my goodness! I love you, Jack Parker. You're brilliant.
I wonder if they actually have someone who wrote that. Let's see. No actual credits.
No actual credits.
I'm assuming it was just Jack Parker, but
yeah, I'm assuming he was just killing it.
So, but I feel like this.
Hey, dude, it could have been Jason Sully.
It could have been this. This is my swan song right here.
Yes.
So this is the rapture, or better yet, this is the part we're waiting on.
Right.
We're waiting to depart because we're so tired of death.
So the repeat return.
When God finally returns.
Because he returned once back to Jerusalem after death, and then he's like, I'm going to come again. That's his repeat return. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, I can't even sit down no more. This is brilliant. Okay, this is my favorite album forever now. I'm serious. Okay, let's we find something better than this entire thing. Like we're like going on an hour of this brilliance. Ah.
Okay, so then it goes on to when God finally returns, we win. Which
Right.
we win. You know,
Right.
that's it. That's the
Well,
final roll
because
call.
when he returns, he comes back, like it says in Revelations, he comes back on a white horse, and he wipes out Satan and his armies.
We win.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And then finally ends with rescue is coming. And the lyrics for rescue is coming is, there's darkness in my skin, my cover's wearing thin, I believe I'd love to start again, go back to innocence and never leave. Don't give up now, a break in the cloud,
Yes.
We could be found. There's nothing wrong with me, it's just that I believe things would get better. And there's nothing wrong with love, I just think it's enough to believe. Rescue is coming. So this is the waiting. This is the point where...
Sounds like a band name.
Well, it's been a band name a few times.
A few times. Several.
But this is the point, we went through everything else. We've seen God, we've been apart, we've dealt with death.
Right.
And now we're just waiting on the rescue to come. And it's in that waiting.
There's a conversation.
Which the conversation is kind of a joke track almost, but it's also where he explains stuff like the atom on the cover.
Oh yeah, they start talking about this and
yeah.
Yes.
And then it ends with the.
They have real quick? Do they actually have the conversation?
Yes, they have the full conversation. It's very long. Like, right here. You can read it all.
That's awesome. Okay.
You have to read through it tonight because it's a long conversation where he goes through all kinds. And we've talked about this album for an hour, and honestly, I could talk about it for another hour. There's so many layers.
It's him and Hogan talking.
It's just a random guy.
Are you sure it sounds like Hogan?
Well, he says his name is Andy.
Hi, my name's Andy.
So, then the album ends with the lark ascending, or perhaps more accurately, I'm just trying to make you sing. And
it's not the larkest ending. As long as I've thought it was the larkest ending, it's the lark ascending.
Which a lark was like a bird.
Right.
And it's music by Ralph Vaughan Williams. And the song itself is performed by Hogan.
Of course.
And then the lyrics are written by DavidCrowder. And it's just, I'm trying to make you sing from inside where you believe, like it's something that you need, like it means everything. I'm just trying to make you feel that this is for real, that life is happening, that it means everything. I'm just trying to make you sing. And this just kind of caps off of, we're just waiting.
Right.
We are now waiting for our rescue. Rescue will come eventually, but until then, just sing. And really, you start singing, and then it just kind of loops back around to the sunshine and happiness of come and listen, how great is our God, we are wholly yours,
right.
etc.
It happens over and repeat.
And this album, I just now thought of this, but this album can also be looked at, this is the cycle of life. I heard a preacher once come through and say, we are either about to go into a storm, in a storm, or coming out of storm.
Right.
That's just the cycle of life.
It's the cycle of life.
And really, that's this album.
That's it. Yeah.
This album is the cycle of life. Like the beginning is the pre-storm,
right?
Going into the storm, coming out of the storm, waiting for the next storm.
Yeah. Right.
That's what we're always. That's where we are.
See, and it's funny because like and you're saying that, and I just thought this. Like I said, music is open to private interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
I forget where it was in the departing,
mm-hmm.
the departing of the, depart, that said, there's a break, there's a party in the clouds. Right. Forget where it was, but there's a part in the clouds.
Rescue is coming.
There's a part in the clouds. And then, like you said, it loops back to a part.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like I said, it's just, It's one of those things. You know, you think about it, and it's like, huh, that's cool.
So
And it may not mean anything, but then again, even if it doesn't mean anything to you guys, it means something to me. So, you know, it's just one of those things. It's
anything that can get you thinking more. This is where I really am. Not this album exactly, but this mindset is where I pull our slogan. You know, viewing eternity through the lens of art.
right.
Everything, there is truth in everything.
Right.
And some things have so little truth it's not worth your time.
Right.
But some things have so much truth, you can't help but be uplifted and be like, you know, thank God, you know, there is hope in the world. God's coming back, etc.
Now on that, you know, go ahead.
So that's just this is example of art doing what it should, making you think about more than just the here and now.
Right.
Making you kind of expand your thought and see, you know, maybe see God in life in a new light.
Right.
Which is
right.
really what I wanted to start this podcast to maybe help other people get that viewpoint as well.
Right. And that's, you know, I feel like that should be our, you know, not only what we view like music, but like I feel like that's how we should live our lives as Christians. You know,
just glimpsing.
We're
eternity.
Christians. Well, not just glimpsing eternity, but being a glimpse of eternity.
Ah, gotcha.
You know, because you know, and I'm not this I'm not trying to make puns, but seriously, you know, becoming a glimpse of eternity for other people, you gotta illuminate the light of God.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, you know,
yeah,
like
I gotcha.
But then, you know, but that can only happen when you
move closer to the light source.
When you're closer to the light source, so you have to have a collision with the light source to illuminate. And that's, you know, that's cool because like I feel like their albums always break down. They do have a breakdown in their albums because like by the time they get to the end, it's like give us rest, and it's like it's a beautiful ending.
Yes, it is.
I'm just saying.
And I will say one other bit they talk about, and well, I'll stop going into this album so deeply. But one other bit they talk about in the once again, linear notes and other stuff, linear notes and blogs and
lion-ear notes
and all the internet I have
now I'm thinking of a lion ear.
and all the internet I have dwelt through for the past 10 years of my life.
It's been around that long.
But I found this one bit where he was a friend who helped inspire this album was like a physicist, and he said, "We're walking in air right now." Right. He said, "What? We're walking in the air right now because where does the sky end, and where does Earth begin? Right. It's constantly colliding all around us, just like where does God end and we begin? We're constantly colliding with God even when we don't realize it."
Yeah, and that's brilliant because if you think about it, when you're walking
above sea level or below sea level, you're at different points in the sky.
Right. If you think about it, though, also on a spiritual note, since we're just, it's cool to be spiritual sometimes. Okay, it's always cool to be spiritual. Just don't be a jerk. Anyway, so when you're walking, like that scripture that says we're in the world but not of it.
Mm-hmm.
So even though we walk in the flesh, we shouldn't think fleshly thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
We should think spiritually. So when we're walking on earth or we're walking in the world, we should still walk in the air. We should still walk in the spirit.
Cool thought.
Because we're on the world, but we're not of the world. We're in it, but not of it. So, yeah, walk on the ground. But while you're walking on the ground, walk in the Spirit of God. So be, like I said, like we're saying, be the glimpse. Be the glimpse. Don't look for a glimpse. Be the glimpse.
There you go. So, let's go ahead and wrap this up. This has been longer than any of our other albums, and I fear these will just get longer and longer as we keep going.
Yeah.
But
We gotta be careful.
gotta be careful.
We're gonna narrow this down, bro. We might have to actually start scripting our podcast.
I know, right? So, in case you haven't gotten the hint yet, I easily give this a song a 9.
Me too.
I
agree
lyrics. We just went through all these.
We
lyrics,
just went through all the lyrics, guys.
and they are so good.
And guys, we cannot fail to mention, like, this has to be a 9 because we already went through the lyrics. Brilliance. We went through the music, guys. Repeat, return. Come on, like seriously. And then you've got As It Holds Up. Like
and
seriously,
it's a perfect piece of art.
Perfect piece of art. It's so beautiful. And I don't know if we'll rate any of the others a 9 exactly.
Maybe we'll see.
Maybe it depends. But right as of right now, and I've been listening to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I have them on iPod now. But anyway, this one stuck out to me the most probably, and it's probably because it has the most songs that I like.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm pretty sure that this forever going to be one of my, I'm gonna dare to say top 10 albums that I like. Now Crowder is on my top 20 list, but top 10 albums, this has totally made it. As far as tonight, it's bumped one down, but it's up there. So, I mean, like, it hasn't bumped down, but like
it bumped something else down.
It bumped something else down. Yeah.
So that's
don't ask me what it bumped down. Restart, Newsboys. But anyway,
I just didn't know that particular Newsboys. That's
well, I mean, because of where that landed on the list at number 10, and then this bumped up to number 2.
There you go.
So.
All right, so that's how we feel about this album.
It's beautiful.
It's definitely a 9-bit album for me, and not everyone agrees. I have read one review. I read one review where they just tore it apart and said, no, it's just too scattered. It's not focused enough.
Right.
And I get that.
But the
idea isn't for it to be focused.
Right.
It's supposed to be the collision of life.
Well, see, that's the problem. Yeah, see, like they actually make it the way it's supposed to be. It's a collision, and they're selling it to you. You know what you're buying. You're buying a collision. Yeah. Like seriously.
And a lot of the reviewers were like, "Oh yeah, it's a collision of worship music with banjos, right?" But it's so much deeper in that.
It's so much more, guys.
So
this is art. Worship music is worship music. David Crowder Band, they're artists. Their music is art. Yeah.
And all music's art, but some is more art than other art.
More like, if we're trying to decide, art, worship music is the Mona Lisa because it's so perfect and it's set. And this is abstract. Like, this doesn't have a name.
Well, I wouldn't say this is abstract.
No. Listen, that's not what I mean. I'm not saying that it's a mess. I'm saying that it's different.
Yeah.
They take all the colors and they make a picture. Mm-hmm. They don't just take, this is black because that's what we need it to be.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't matter because we have these tools and resources. So we're going to use what we have. It's just, I'm not there. I love abstract art. So that's why
I get you.
Abstract.
So, thank you guys. For anyone who's made it this far, thank you for listening.
To our rambling, you guys are our only vent.
As always, please feel free to contact us. Instagram.
Hey, at this point, we're open to hate mail.
Well, if you disagree with us, let us know.
Yeah,
in the comments.
It'd be great to know, guys. We want to know your thoughts.
So email us. We'll put all our links down in the bottom of the about this.
Yeah,
about
what's it called? Like the description?
The description, yes. We'll put all the links there so everyone can get to them. And until next time.
That's your conclusion.
Rock on.
Rock on.